A mysterious storm is heading towards the Fortnite island, and the skies are now destined to turn black, and a new villain known as the Wanderer is on their way to wipe out all of humanity. But how did we get here? Well, I'm here to explain that, what was going on with Zeus all season, and most importantly, how Midas finally returned to the Fortnite storyline in Chapter 5, Season 2. So just to serve as a reminder for what happened at the end of Chapter 5, Season 1, the enemy faction that was known as the Society was falling apart due to infighting going on within the organization, which resulted in Valeria, the faction's most powerful member, to leave the organization as she was not actually loyal to the Society, but was just using them for their resources as she pursued her true goal, which was to unearth Pandora's box. Hope and Jones, our protagonists of this chapter, took notice of their enemy's vulnerable state and seized the opportunity and led their faction, the Underground, in their final battle against the Society, where they humiliated the group's higher-ups and rescued Jones's best friend Peely. The Society was left alive, but now with their power dwindling even more. Then suddenly one day, a mysterious woman named Odyssey arrived on the island. Odyssey came to the island to serve as a warning to the loopers for what was to come next, as at the end of the season, Valeria had done it. She found Pandora's box and unleashed all of the evils of the box onto the island. This got the attention of the gods of Olympus, resulting in them taking a little trip to the Fortnite island, which is where we pick up now in Chapter 5, Season 2. Zeus is absolutely furious with the mortals for unleashing the evils of Pandora's box, so he states that he will end all of humanity as punishment. The remaining leaders of the Society refuse to give up their power, so they attempt to fight back against the Greek gods, which up until now they thought were nothing more than myths. Valeria, on the other hand, made a smarter decision and has gone into hiding for the time being. And I say she made the smarter decision, as of course the Society was easily defeated by Zeus. However, there is dialogue with both the Hope and Clara NPCs that suggest the Society's members may have escaped with their lives, but no longer hold any positions of power. But then again, they could just be snapshots now. But with the Society out of the way, who would oppose Zeus and stop him from destroying humanity? It was then that a mysterious being known as the Oracle approached the loopers. We know, thanks to Apollo, that the Oracle was once a mortal herself, but now serves as a consultant that can read destinies. The Oracle tells the loopers that they must prove the worth of humanity to Zeus and the other guardians of Olympus to stop Zeus from destroying humanity. So throughout the season, the loopers have made it their goal to figure out how to stop Zeus, and they will have plenty of time, since Zeus will spend almost the entire season threatening to destroy humanity, but won't do anything until about the end of the season. Seriously, Zeus throughout this entire season was basically just like, I'm gonna destroy humanity, I'm gonna do it, just watch me. Well, he does things like write notes to the other gods and, I don't know, just stand around looking angry. Yeah, not gonna lie, a big issue with this season's storyline is that it was told in such an incredibly stagnant way, which is what made it kind of confusing to follow, as we just were getting bits and pieces of the story a few times throughout the entire season via the snapshot quests, and occasionally with the NPC dialogue. The first batch of these quests, though, was proving to the Oracle that the loopers are worthy to defend humanity, which of course the loopers passed all of our trials, and the Oracle tells us that if we can all unite under the leadership of a true hero, humanity might be able to survive Zeus's wrath. The Oracle then instructs the loopers to begin to build alliances with some of the immortals, but they first need to get their attention. The first immortal the loopers get the attention of is Hades, who scoffs at the thought of any looper being humanity's hero. But he gives the loopers a chance to prove themselves in a sparring match against his guard dog Cerberus, where they actually win. This victory then gets the attention of Ares, who challenges the loopers to a duel that he also loses. This enrages Ares, and he lets the loopers know that Zeus will be hearing about this. But this victory over Ares got the attention of more than just Zeus, but all of his allies as well, and humanity is a lot stronger than they believed. And now the Oracle instructs the loopers to begin building alliances with some of the immortals. But at this point in the story, the A plot just stopped for a long period of time, so we instead have to shift our focus away from Zeus and Olympus and look towards Hades and the underworld, where our B plot, and honestly the more important plot to Fortnite's overall narrative, happens this season. So from the start of the season, it was hard to miss that Marigold, Jules, and the rest of Midas's crew had arrived on the island. This was because Marigold had been given a tip by Ruby of all characters that Midas was located on this new island, and that he had been imprisoned in the underworld by none other than Hades. Now it is still very unclear how Midas ended up in the underworld after his disappearance, though the most common theory surrounding what happened to Midas is that he was slain by the time-traveling revenant Kato Thorn. But back to the present, the crew was all on the island ready to go and save Midas when they found out he had already escaped from the underworld. The crafty crime lord had tricked one of the guards into setting one of his hands free, which he used to turn the guard into gold and set himself free. Once he escaped, Midas wasted no time reuniting with his crew and, most importantly to him, his daughter Jules. He informs them that his plan requires them to retake the Marigold yacht and sail away from this island, not only to escape the wrath of Hades, but Midas has new ambitions and this island is way too small for them. However, before the crew left, there was still some business to take care of here first. Midas decides to work with some of the loopers and have them investigate his crew's loyalty, especially his right-hand man Brutus's, as he was left in charge of Shadow while Midas was gone. Plus, Jules had been suspecting Brutus of being a traitor for a while now, and Midas will pretty much do anything for his daughter, as while he isn't necessarily the greatest father figure, he still adores her. But after the loopers' investigation, they find no foul play until they stumble upon some bugs on the Marigold yacht. This greatly angers Midas, but Brutus explains that those bugs were actually hopes that she was using when the society had taken over the yacht, and he planned to return those to her. So it would seem that Brutus was not only still loyal to Midas, but was glad to be his second in command again. So now Jules had some apologizing to do to Brutus. But speaking of Jules, a mutual contact who is most likely Marigold informed Jules that Midas had discovered that the chains of Hades could suppress his golden touch. So he asked Jules if she could design him gauntlets so that he could finally control his curse. This got the attention of Jules, as she initially was hesitant about tagging along on this mission to rescue her father, as she now had a life living outside of his shadow and had almost entirely separated herself from her father, as she still has trauma of when he accidentally turned her to gold, and even though he made a great sacrifice to revive her, her trust in him has forever been broken, and understandably so. But since Midas was obviously trying to redeem himself, Jules decided that she would help out her father, and with the aid of some of the loopers, Jules was able to study how the power of the sticks worked, and she was able to design Midas the gauntlets that allow him to control his golden touch. She then gave these gauntlets to Midas, and now the pair seem to be on pretty good terms with each other. After this, the crew reunited with each other, took back the Marigold, and set sail on their new adventure, wherever that may be. And finally, all of them were reunited on good terms. And don't worry, we'll see these guys again. But with the Rise of Midas story having concluded, we now jump back into the main story of this season. In Aphrodite's snapshot quest, Aphrodite finally contacts the loopers and says that she wants to meet with them. She sympathizes with the loopers, but she doesn't think they have what it takes to save humanity. The loopers throughout these quests complete small tasks to show their compassion and prove to Aphrodite that they have the heart of a true hero. Also, they do get a little help from Poseidon, who's already pretty chill with humanity. But this whole time, Zeus has been sending out messages to the other gods to get them on his side. So Aphrodite advises the loopers to go recruit Artemis, which they are able to do since Artemis, while she respects Zeus, finds what he's planning to do with humanity just simply unjust. From here, we move on to the Cerberus snapshot quest, where we spend a ton of time helping Cerberus track down his tennis ball so he won't rat out the loopers' plan to Zeus. And I'm not making that up. Though at least this quest line wasn't a complete waste of time, since it did result in the loopers gaining some respect from Hades since they were so kind to his dog. But finally, we then got Medusa's snapshot quest. She absolutely despises the gods for the lies they spread about her. In this universe, Medusa was not only a victim of the gods, but she had actually been spared by Perseus, a hero the gods tried to trick into slaying her, but now he has become her greatest ally. Now Medusa is ready to team up with the mortals and take the fight straight to Zeus's doorstep. But not only that, Hope realized now that she needed to rejoin this fight, and of course Jones is tagged alongside her once again, so now the loopers, the underground, and some of the immortals are now opposing Zeus in this final clash. Medusa took Hope and the loopers to Olympus on a mission to regain some of her relics Zeus had stolen from her. When they discovered a mysterious hourglass, and after studying it, Medusa realized that these hourglasses had been forged by Hephaestus and were being used by Zeus to amplify his powers, meaning that if they were destroyed, Zeus would be weakened. So of course the loopers went around and destroyed these hourglasses, and now it was time for one final showdown against Zeus. This time, Hope is the one who decided to challenge the king of the Olympian gods. However, Hope had a trick up her own sleeve. Medusa had used the broken hourglasses to craft a charm to make Hope as powerful as an Olympian god. So when the two clashed, she actually defeated Zeus, but Hope left him alive in hopes that this would be enough to prove the worth of humanity to him. The Oracle congratulated the Loopers for their victory over Zeus, but the Oracle also stated that this was only the beginning and they needed to prepare for their true battle ahead. Soon the skies will turn black and someone known as the Wanderer is approaching, but Hope will lead them through this upcoming darkness. And then finally this season concludes with Zeus having finally lost his patience with humanity. The only thing that they had proved to him is that they were a threat. So he took control over the statue that stood over Olympus and destroyed Pandora's box, summoning a storm that will soon consume the Fortnite island. And now we have to wait and see what happens in Fortnite Chapter 5, Season 3.